we can take a look at what is happening there. And we have an Enchantress and Chen ban as our first two.
Oh, jeez. Come on.
They do not like those jungle heroes.
Let me see
or
one
offlaners.
Chen pick. Everyone's so terrified of Chen these days. He's been #1 at ban almost every single game.
Well, I mean, after watching the Major, I'm not surprised. And he's just super strong. There's really nothing else to say. Right now, Chen is just ultra useful because of how strong the creeps are in the jungle. But not only that, he scales really well. There's plenty of items that you can buy that are great, and the Ancients are just insane.
Yeah.
Stacking the armor, or even just using one dragon to split push with the fire. I mean, there's so much you can do.
That damn dragon, man. He's a hot ticket.
It's that dragon, dude.
It's so good. How to
Good
Train Your
dragon.
Dragon Chen edition.
Yep.
Beautiful stuff. Nature's
And
Prophet? Is
Lone
that?
Druid as well,
Oh,
and
Lone
Nature's
Druid.
Prophet. Pretty standard bans here, so 3 offlaners, I guess you could say. Enchantress definitely played a lot as an offlane roam kind of hero. And we saw it have good success yesterday with the ganks on mid and so on.
The games that we saw yesterday, both Vega Squadron and Diggity had both of their games coming from Dire side. This time it's Vega Squadron that has Dire, and I'm gonna imagine that they both favor Dire, but it was Vega that chose Dire.
Yeah.
What do you feel is the biggest difference between the two sides right now?
Right now,
What does
I
it
mean,
say about the team?
of course, Dire always gives you the Roche advantage, but
Yeah.
lanes are easier if you're Radiant. I feel they're slightly easier to execute and play out. Your safe lane as Radiant is easier to control, I feel, than the Dire safe lane. And the mid is just slightly favored, but that evens out with the Roshan. I think either side is good for me.
Well, if you talk, we talked about No Diggity. We said we want them to win 2 lanes if they're gonna do well.
Yeah.
Wouldn't Radiant side then be better for them?
Well, maybe there's more to it. Maybe they have a specific thing, but I don't even know if they specifically picked this side, so we'll see.
There is a lot to based on what side you pick. One of the best things that not a lot of people talk about is the ambient creatures. On Radiant, you have turtles, which are cool.
Oh yeah, and you have squirrels.
Right, you got squirrels,
But you
you
get
got
snakes if
butterflies.
you're Dire.
You got
Spiders.
snakes. Now think
Yeah.
about this psychologically, okay? When you're playing, you see these spooky snakes. What are you going to do? You're going to pay attention more to the map, your surroundings. We're raised
Ooh.
like that.
Isn't there? We talked yesterday about some evolutionary stuff that if you were afraid of spiders and snakes, you're actually
More intelligent.
more intelligent.
That's right, because you're afraid of things that scuttle, because
Yes.
evolutionary, they're more dangerous. That's why people win on Dire, is because they got spooky snakes and spiders. They're
I feel this is some
constantly...
arachnophobia preaching
They're on
right here.
They're on
adrenaline high
edge.
because they're on edge.
You got a
Yeah,
bunch of
yeah.
goddamn squirrels down in Radiant. You don't care about life. You're constantly getting ganked. You're not
No,
seeing that
then
stuff
you're getting
coming.
distracted too, because like,
Oh,
such a
look at
sweet.
that. All right.
Oh, dead.
I don't
We
know.
are all so stupid. Let's
I
move
feel
on.
this is
Braga is just silent. Okay,
Yeah.
you idiots. Let's move on. So we got an Invoker pick. We've got an OD pick. I've never seen an OD or an Invoker in this patch, so
Well-
very excited here.
Well, we also have
Yeah.
Beastmaster and we have Bounty Hunter. So
Wow.
these are really out of the box heroes now. But of course, both teams getting some vision here. Bounty Hunter good for ganking and just setting up for his team. And if you have OD and Bounty Hunter, you can really win that mid lane if you come in and bully. You can of course run OD safe lane, but we're gonna see what they want to do. Beastmaster and Invoker on the other side, extremely easy to execute combination. Roar, Sunstrike.
Yep.
It doesn't get much more straightforward than that. And then you have the push combo of Forge Spirits and the attack speed aura. So just solid draft so far.
Yeah.
Seen a respect ban coming out from this Broodmother. Nobody wants Mag to be able to get his beloved Broodmother. So.
Yeah, and it's also where it should be, you know. You don't need to ban it in the first phase. You can easily get away just waiting, banning it in the second phase, and you don't have to worry about it. And that's definitely what the second phase is for, just respecting teams.
What do you feel is going to be happening with the offlanes here? Because No Diggity obviously has a Beastmaster, and they banned out every other offlaner. What do you feel Vega Squadron is going to have for Mag? I mean, Broodmother's no longer in the pool.
Give us some
Sorry,
crazy
Slacks.
Centaur. Let's go.
Crazy Centaur, is it time?
Well,
No.
it's probably not the time. I would love to see it, but it's probably not. I actually don't know what he wants to go for here, but they're obviously at a slight disadvantage if they don't get a good offlaner.
What? Yeah.
I would say get an offlaner in the
They're
fourth
just
pick.
waiting.
Needed.
Yeah, they might
We
want
still
to
have
see more
Tide in the
heroes.
pool. We just have Tide banned out yesterday, actually.
Well, the thing is that I think they want to wait before they pick their offlaner because they don't know anything about the safe lane.
Okay.
They know it's Invoker and they know it's Beastmaster, but picking your offlaner before the enemy has any of their safe lane marked, you can get into a bad draft. Whereas if they just wait, maybe Weaver is a good pick, maybe, you know, some other hero can be sexy. Depends.
Some other. Did you just say that Weaver was sexy?
No, some other hero could be sexy.
Weaver's sexy in his own way.
Did you just insult Weaver?
Yeah, yeah, of course.
Waka.
Turn it around.
Syndrome would pick a Weaver though.
Yeah.
Have you heard
Yeah.
him make the impression? Does
Yeah.
it pretty
Oh god.
It's very disturbing,
good. It's
actually.
very creepy.
yeah. He's got this creepy baby laugh that he likes to do too.
Mhm.
It's quite disturbing.
Don't say anything because then Andy might do it too.
Yeah.
I
Looks
don't
like we know what Sheever's next nightmare is going to be about.
Syndrome.
Speaking of
Please,
nightmares,
no.
oh, what a transition!
What a
We got
segue,
Bane.
what a
Wow.
Got
segue.
him.
Thank
But,
you. No diggity. They're listening
no
into
diggity,
a cast.
my boys. All right,
Wait, what?
Bane's always a pretty good pickup, especially this patch.
More
but-
single target lockdown, and now the BKB on OD won't do that much because they have 2 different spells already that pierces BKB. So
I know what Cinder is thinking as well.
Yeah,
He got destroyed by Bane yesterday.
definitely. He's like, oh, this Bane just ran at me with boots on level 1 and destroyed our entire laning phase. Let's just try and do that. Let's be that guy.
Yeah.
Let's run in.
Hey, it worked.
And
so.
now they have one more setup as well. If he goes for the level 2 Nightmare skill up, he can, prepare for a Sunstrike, makes ganking a little bit easier. I like this. Maybe,
As you said though, nothing yet known for the safe lane.
Yeah, well,
So for Vega, a tough choice to go for. what to go
assuming
for.
that Bane is going to be running around everywhere, at least you could probably assume it's going to be a double lane down there. So probably not a full tri lane. Maybe you can feel a bit safe. But Bane is super dangerous. If he ever sneaks up behind you and nightmares you, I mean, depending on what the 2 other heroes are, you might just be dead immediately from 100% HP.
Yep.
It's
You know
very
who's a
common.
pretty good counter to Bane these days?
Mm.
Production crew. You got me on this one? You know what would be great in this game? Omni Knight. Damn it, production.
How do you want
the
them
thing
to
is
do
that-
that? They can't read you.
They know what they're doing back there.
Okay.
Yeah,
There you
my
go.
boy. Sorry. It's a personal story. Last time I was here, every time I talked, they showed the
The
Omni Knight
ether
clip.
lens is a fish.
It's a fish. It's a...
Yeah. I
That's
don't know
neat.
what's about that. Maybe someone doesn't like the extra cast range.
Well, what do you
In
get?
production.
Yeah,
Dead
they're a little
fish.
mad back there, but
Smells.
somebody gets nightmared, you just slap a little repel on them, slap a purification.
fine. Good
You're
to go.
fine. You're good. But
Yeah.
no, they're gonna be instead going with a nice, beautiful Bat Rider. So
I
good
saw
stuff.
your voice pack for Omni Knight suggestion. That
Oh,
was
thank you.
that was quite something. I would love to play with that.
Yeah, that will never make it into
No,
the game.
definitely
but,
never.
But
Definitely
it is there.
never.
40 hours well spent by me. So,
You
thank
spent
you.
40
Did you
hours
actually
on
spend
that?
that much
Yeah,
time?
I did 3 weekends for a month,
believe
going
you.
into a voice studio screaming. It was
You had
pretty,
a lot of different voice lines for
It was
everything.
cathartic, man. It was real good. The other guys in the voice studio, no idea what was going on.
Maybe
They're-
you can, I was gonna say maybe you can pay someone at Valve to get it in, but you're probably gonna have to infiltrate the building instead.
Yeah, I might want to join the DreamLeague and win a couple matches for sure. Get a few thousand quick and easy. So we got a Slark and that Bat Rider. Now tell me about this Bat Rider. He's
Well,
sometimes picked up these days, not
that-
really too much.
It goes back to what they're doing both teams here a lot. They're bringing so much single target focus. They have the Beastmaster, they have the Bane, on the other side they have the Bat Rider. They're really just trying to go for one guy at a time. Even Slark is speaking towards this, and Sunstrike from Invoker. But Bat Rider is great against Bane. He's really amazing against him. You
Really?
can, yeah, you can stop the Fiend Script easily. If you ever jump on top of him, he can't really do that much.
But isn't Bane also good against Bat Rider?
I wouldn't say
You
so.
blink in to try and grab someone, you instantly Nightmare Bat Rider. He's not going to go anywhere, even if he has lassoed
It's
someone.
hard to do that. If the Bat Rider has Force Staff, you're never gonna get a Nightmare off before. Maybe the Fiend Script, but then you have to stand in good position. I would say to counter a Bat
You
Rider.
get an ether lens though.
Yeah,
the
I don't know.
range.
I don't know about
No.
that. Bane, I wouldn't want to play against Bat Rider. Let's say it like this. Because even if you try and Nightmare to maybe protect yourself, you always have to Firefly to break it without falling asleep himself.
I mean, there's a lot of
so many
interrupts
things.
regardless on Vega Squadron. You got Shuriken Toss, you got the Astral Imprisonment,
Yeah.
you got the Cask from the Witch Doctor as well. This is a tough Bane game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like what Vega are doing here though, because the picks they have, they started out with the Bounty Hunter early, and now they have Bat Rider as well, and they have Odie in their team, which can always be a strong hero. Now they can really just go for kills 24/7, and if they do this and just outplay No Diggity in terms of fighting, they're gonna win the game because of Bounty Hunter giving them so much gold
Yeah.
advantage. The only danger they have is if Slark gets enough items, he could become a real nuisance. And Slark is very item dependent. He has one of the worst stat gains in Dota. And he needs to get to the point where he has like Scotty, Blink Dagger maybe a Shadow Blade, depending on what you want to go.
I mean, but it's been working out lately. A lot of teams are kind of
Yeah.
picking up that Slark and making it in that late game, and he
Oh.
can take risks that nobody else can take.
He's super strong. Assuming that you get your items, he's very, very hard to deal with, and it becomes even harder if you're gonna rely on something like lassoing him with the Batrider, because he can maybe jump away, he can use his Q, he can use ulti. It's too many
Oh
things.
yeah, he could just queue off the ulti. I mean,
Yeah.
what a god.
He can purchase.
That is depressing if you're gonna get a nice, beautiful.
A good thing though is they have ODs, so they can just imprison him, and you can't actually queue out of that. So you can put him on timeout, you know.
Right.
Good thing.
No tantrum can survive the timeout, baby.
Yeah.
So last pick here for Vega Squadron, we had Lycan banned out for no Diggity.
yeah.
Or by no Diggity, I should say.
Oracle as well being removed.
Yeah,
Um,
but
Oracle being removed is great because Oracle, that's a hero I would not want to play against as a Batrider, because that
Okay.
ulti has
Oh,
an
yeah.
insane cast range and no cast time, so you can just purge off the lasso immediately. But a good ban out, and Peel gets grabbed up here. Peel is a good hero against Slark, in my opinion.
Why is
Yeah.
that?
Well, he has illusions and just makes it hard to single focus the
but
hero
won't
as
you
a
be able
Slark.
to find out who's the real one fairly easy with Slark?
You can find out, but there's so many things. Like he can doppel walk away from the pounce.
Yeah.
He can get
Yeah.
out of that leash, and he can also just have a ton of illusions run at the Slark with mana burn, and a Slark without mana doesn't do anything. So there's a few things about Peel that is gonna make him good against Slark.
Okay, last pick. What's your prediction?
Oh,
No Diggity. Are they gonna go greed, or are they? I will let you decide. Are they gonna go greed or a secondary support?
No, I think they will go for a second support, something that can gank and maybe fight with Bane. Maybe Mirana even. Maybe
Bane Mirana.
yeah.
Wait.
Oh, there we
Oh.
go. That's pretty close. That's a stunner.
Yeah.
Good ganks.
Good gangs.
Oh,
I like it.
this. This is gonna be
Well,
awesome.
I always like to see more and more stunts if you have a Invoker in your team. Just makes it so much easier to utilize his Sunstrike at all times. So
Yep.
it's a pretty solid pick. Great against the PL as well.
So it is time to decide. Who do you favor, guys?
I believe in Vega here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be weird, and I'm gonna say that I don't have
I'm
a lot
not
of,
surprised.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of trust in PLs. I personally right now don't think that it's too great of a hero. He doesn't really have a good place. He's okay in the mid game, but he's not the best late game.
I think MVP showed he was great in Shanghai Major.
Shanghai Major.
Maybe
who
that's
watched
just
that?
MVP being great though.
Well, anyway, I like the Sand King. Good area of attack. I'm gonna say No Diggity will do well. They're still gonna lose. But they're gonna do good. So the
Wow.
VP's gonna win, but it's gonna be a fight to remember, Sheever.
Well, the confidence is high here in the studio. We are going to find out what our commentators are thinking about this first game of the day. It is time for Vega Squadron versus No Diggity with OD Pixel and Rascal.
Hey guys, and welcome to the first game of the first series of the day. Vega Squadron going up against No Diggity. I'm OD Pixel. I'm here with Draskell. The game has begun, so let's shoot ourselves straight into it. Andy, how are you doing, and what are you expected to see from these two guys today?
Well, I think the Sand King's a little bit greedy from No Diggity. I saw that pick, and we see Bounty Hunter. We talked about it during a little bit of the pre-show, and even before we went live, discussing how Bounty Hunter is pretty much one of the answers in the early game, stopping a team from picking an aggressive kind of jungling hero like Enigma or Sand King or Enchantress Chen. Obviously, some of those heroes are going to get banned, but more often than not, every single time we see a hero like this who kind of needs that space to get something going, it always gets punished. And when I'm looking to Vega, I think that Solo has been a phenomenal Bounty Hunter player for as long as I can remember. Like, this guy is just everywhere he needs to be constantly, and if he can do work to the lineup of No Diggity during this early game, stop YapzOr from getting anything done, then I'm kind of in agreement with the panel. I really think that Vega's lineup is just a bit better.
It's going to be interesting to see as well. Obviously, we had a talk on the panel about the fact that Vega, they switched around their position 1. As they were saying, that is pretty much the role that's going to be less impactful in terms of playing as a team. You feel that Vega, that's not going to be too much of an issue, and we shouldn't see them falter too much because of the changed roster.
I don't think it'll be too noticeable, right? It's one thing to replace like a shot caller and have a completely different outlook on how you want to play the game. That's why you don't see supports rotating in and out of teams so much. And when they do, the style of the team adapts to those players because they're the ones who are usually saying, okay, this is what we need to do, this is what we're going to pick. But because we're just switching out a core, our mentality on how we play the game isn't really being influenced in any huge way. So I assume that this match will be pretty much Vega style, just with a little bit of a twist maybe.
And of course, on this mid lane, Quaifet against no one's OD. Invoker versus OD, already a kind of a matchup that he's not going to be too happy with. He's got to deal with Solo's bounty roaming in as well. We talked about Koifa yesterday. Obviously, we saw him play the puck. Didn't have a great game. And then in the second game, he came back a little bit better on the Tiny, where he had a pretty good performance. So interesting to see how he does on the Invoker today. Top lane, Kezu on his Beastmaster. Also, I believe the hero he did play in the game that they won yesterday, didn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, he won the game when they played Beastmaster. So see how No Diggity able to step up again today. Sentry's been dropped in the mid, so we'll see. Solo's going to be straight in there with the D-Ward. Sentry's gone. Yep, so also hanging around this mid lane, trying to help out Invoker, but already 8-4 on the OD, 3-0 for the Invoker. A minute and a half in, pretty much how you can expect this lane matchup to go.
It's not really the greatest time for Invoker. You get more points into the orb. You can't even really use your Forge Spirit set effectively because you deal so much extra damage to summons. This matchup is a nightmare. And again, because they picked the Sand King, who's going to help him? The Bane pretty much has to stay bottom, otherwise the Bat Rider is going to be getting a lot. Even though Slark might not necessarily die in that safe lane, it's just really, really frustrating to not be able to leave your solo safe lane until he has, you know, minimum level 6. And by the time Era hits 6, who knows what's already going to happen in the other 2 lanes. So again, Solo's rotations just causing a little bit of annoyance here to Kezu. He's almost out of regen at this point, and he's still very low on health on top of that. So again, Vega controlling the early laning phase, not really too much of a shock here.
I'm going to see Solo grabbing himself a DD. I believe it was spotted out by the ward, so the movement, so Koifa should be... It looks like he's going to play it safe. He still does have Yapzor hanging around on the Sand King. I mean, this, of course, is going to mean Yapzor's going to be very limited in what he can achieve in terms of getting levels in the jungle at the moment. They're just going for it with the DD. Koifa cold step onto Solo to hold him back, but Yapzor now coming in with the bow strike. Solo might be one to go down in. He's going to start to back up. Will just get himself over to his side of the map, but very close engagements there, and well, the level 1 Sand King there, nearly able to turn that one around there for the side.
Getting the kill would have been nice, but I think this is... It's a really hard timing for No Diggity to hit, because their Sand King needs to be at least like level 5 or 6 before he's going to be able to contribute a whole lot. That situation is a rare circumstance. You know, having the Bounty Hunter actually be going into the tower at the same time that you're in position to be able to counter gank simultaneously. That's not going to happen too much. And Yapzor was pretty much camping the lane for, you know, the last minute or so before Solo even decided to show up. But the other thing too is, like, with the new jungle, the Sand King, like, Sandstorm farming is not really going to be super fast either. So I'm kind of...
As we can see, he's already got a few stacks being made, but yeah, in terms of being able to get from stack to stack, it's going to hurt him a little bit, and one of the reasons why I guess we don't really see a lot of Sand King. He does still sometimes come through in a few games, but
yeah, it's one of those...
on the big pick.
I like it when you see other heroes like Enigma or like Chen, because unlike Bounty Hunter, who is completely just hell-bent on the early game, just trying to stop you from doing what you want to do, those other heroes are more interested in farming their own core items first and then fighting. So most of the time in that situation, you'll have an unobstructed jungle. Or maybe if the lanes are being pressured a bit, at least they're not coming directly for you. Where in this game, Yapzor, he might actually just be dead.
He's gone. This is going to be your first blood. Level 1 Sand King trying to get himself out, but Bounty will continue to chase him. Sin able to hold back the bat there. Okay, it's going to be enough with Vera coming in. So nice rotation from the safe lane. It's a good job, because Yapzor looked to be dead, and this could be No Diggity turning around, getting a first blood of their own, and it is Sin getting the first blood there. Great play on the Bane, holding back the Bat Rider with a Nightmare, and then following it through to get a kill with Era.
That was a really big misplay, though, actually, from Solo. What he pretty much could do in that situation is, because the Bat Rider had full Tranquils, he just wakes the Bat Rider up since he was Fireflied that entire time, and the Bat Rider pretty much gets that kill no matter what. And then maybe, you know, they trade, maybe he doesn't, but with Firefly active, he does way more damage, he's faster than you. Ideally, he gets that kill. Maybe he just thought that he would get it anyway, since he had the Orb of Venom, but he himself does not have boots, whereas Yapzor did. So, a little bit of a misplay there. Ends up costing him his life.
Of course, we're seeing on the both the mid lane and the safe lane for the side of Vega, they're going to get pretty much uninterrupted farm, especially now that Kez on the Beastmaster has decided to leave the lane and go to the jungle.
Look at this mid matchup, man. This is brutal. 36-20 to 13-1.
Poor old Koifa.
But this is the problem, right? It's not just the fact that the matchup is favored for the OD, it's the fact that it's favored for the OD and there's a Bounty Hunter. The thing is, when you look at it from an observer perspective, sure, we know exactly where the Bounty Hunter is at all times. But Koifa doesn't have that information. So he's just sitting there thinking to himself, okay, the Bounty Hunter could be here almost any time. I don't have a Sentry in my lane. I do have a high ground ward, but the Bounty could still be here. And that makes you just play this passive game. Like, he's standing so far back knowing, okay, if I go for the CS, I might get ganked. If I go for the CS, I might get ganked. It's just a nightmare in the situation for him.
And what's the play here for Era this game? What kind of items do you think he's going to be building on this slot?
Well, the standard progression is either you go Treads Aquila, and then you go for some like Shadow Blade or Blink Dagger. Some Slarks like going for the Midas. I don't know if Midas is really the greatest choice. It's a really good Slark item because you want levels, obviously. Like getting Pounce maxed out, getting a handful of points into Essence Shift on top of your max Dark Pack, that's great. Getting more points into the Shadow Dance is also good for the bonus regen and movement speed. But Midas also kind of makes you prolong the game. And when you already have a Sand King...
Oh, this back with that Ace Rune. He's coming in for a bit of action onto Sin. The Napalm stack, Sin turning around the Brain Sat will force the bat to back. Isn't going to be able to dive. Seeing if he can do a little bit here to the stacks that the Sand King Yapso isn't going to be too happy with giving away. And, okay, can't hang around for that one. So Yapso is going to be able to maintain his farm here for the time being. Solo still hanging around. In fact, looks like Era's going to come in and he's going to be wanting to take the glory and take the gold here from this stack.
Yapsor needs levels, that's the main thing. Like, he's not concerned about getting the gold just yet. He needs level 2 Sandstorm. Without level 2 Sandstorm, he does almost no damage to the creep stacks.
Solo still just coming over to this off the map, scouting out, getting the intel that he needs. Mid lane, wait for Continue to try and do his best to fend off this OD and get what he can.
Dude, he is getting wrecked.
I mean, OD and PL, they're just both of these cores on the side of Vega, FN and No One are looking extremely scary. And it seems like neither of them have pretty much missed more than 5 CS at this point of the game. 7 minutes in, over 50 CS on both of them.
It's kind of terrifying to think about because No Diggity's game plan is supposedly, let's fall back on our Sand King, who's going to get some, good timing on his Blink Dagger to be able to carry us during this mid game. Yapsor's got, around 800 gold. It's going to be probably, 13-minute Blink Dagger at this rate, and he's still only level 3. And with that being said, like Solo, he's the same level as the Sand King, and that's fine. But the amount of damage that he's done just by walking from lane to lane, you can't really compare it. It's just insane. Even though he made that misplay and ended up getting a First Blood, if they execute that properly, they'd be even farther ahead.
Top lane, Vega got themselves to the tower. OD's now got a double damage rune in the bottle. So going to be even more scary for the side of No Diggity if they come and try and do something against him. But at this point, you gotta ask yourself, is there really much that they can throw at him? I mean, at this point, surely it's got to just be waiting on someone like Just Kezu to get the level 6 online. We can see they may be trying to set up something with a Nightmare and then follow through with Yaps, or as both Sin and Yaps did kind of hang around behind that tier 1, but I think they realize it's just such a hard kill to get at this point.
They don't have any disables, really, that are super reliable until either A, they get Blink, or like you said, Kezu gets Roar. Those are the two things that are almost necessity to be able to kill a hero, especially like OD. I mean, look at how tanky he is. He's got 1,200, almost 1,300 HP. Smoke actually going to be popped here as well.
And it was indeed spotted out there by the Vegas Observer Ward on the high ground. The pings come out as well, so they're well aware of this rotation.
Solo's going to go break it. That's what he wants to do.
He's a smart man. There we go. Dust will be popped. Maybe they can get the kill. Maybe Solo. Not quite that smart. He may look to try and deny himself. There's not going to be the chance here. Roshan, they come in with the slam. That's going to be a kill here for Era Slark. The 2 on the board here for the side of No Diggity. And we talked about the farm for the PL and the OD for Vega, but Era, he's been having a good time on the Slark in his own safe lane.
The real question is, how does he play this out? Like, does he go for the Midas now that he has his Aquila and his Treads? Because this is about as standard as you can get. Okay, he's buying a Bracer, so it looks like it will be the choice for drums. But this, it's still going okay. Like, No Diggity, they got a handful of kills. They have time, and that's the most important aspect. Like, the Bounty Hunter's not 6 yet, and I think the Bat Rider, he's about to hit level 7 right now, not quite yet at Blink. So in that regard, Yapsor is actually doing pretty good in regards of money. So the progression towards Blink is roughly the same, and I think that's where you want to be as Sand King. You don't want to be behind the Blink Dagger timing of the Bat Rider in this matchup, so that's another thing for No Diggity that's actually going pretty well. Now, he's not really doing good on levels, but that's okay. A Blink Burrow Strike is more than enough at this stage. Like, having the Epicenter is great. That was Kezu. Oh, God, that bounce!
Germa the Slayer.
That was so unlucky, dude. There was a Catapult, a Boar, and 2 melee creeps, and that thing just, like, sniper hit, like, headshot him.
Yeah,
that coconut.
It was a very good call from the Slayer himself to just drop the Death Ward and go for it. He knew that those bounces would be on his side.
Gotta have faith in RNGesus.
Really nicely done there by the Witch Doctor.
Radiant's top tower.
Of course, getting Vega their first kill on the board this game, but as you said, it's a close one so far. Era has got the drums now complete. So I'm in the slot. He's certainly got killing potential, and it's going to be hard really for Vega to catch him out. I mean, in terms of killing the slot, you've got to send a fair few heroes down there if you want to do that if you're Vega.
The other thing too that's really annoying about playing against Slark as Vega's team is that until the PL gets Diffusal, he's really hard to even flat out kill. So like Wega was saying, once the Diffusal is up on the PL, it's great because you can just send your illusions at him. Solo going to be forced to pop his invis here or just die.
Just goes in and rips it to shreds, and now, well, he's going to look for the Witch Doctor as well now. Holds it back, and indeed, Bouncy at the walk on cooldown, and Era, he's straight in to take opportunity of that.
Yeah, that was really nice.
Yeah, I'm going to now have the blink done on your Bat Rider, but as you said earlier, Yapsaw progression pretty much kept at the same rate. He's going to have his very shortly. Era missing the pounds there. Doctor will be fine, but both blinks coming out from both sides at a pretty similar time by the looks of it.
Yeah, the one thing about Slark is nighttime vision is a big deal when it comes to ganking for Bat Rider. Like, a lot of teams abuse it. Because if you look right now, it's like it's night and blink is available. So obviously Vega want to go for like some kind of smoke gank. They want to utilize the blink as soon as humanly possible. But going for a Slark means that he will pretty much see you. And if he's fast enough on the dark pack timing after the smoke breaks, he can even, you know, stop the lasso from being a guaranteed kill on him. So I feel this is one of the better heroes against Bat. At least personally, I wouldn't want to play Bat against the Slark. But at the same time, we'll see the lasso. Yeah.
Smoke in and jump on Sakezu. He's a goner. That's going to be the reveal of the Blink Dagger on Bat, so Diggity going to know that Vega's got that one online. Still popping back to the Sanking now.
He's got it.
He's got it now.
Yeah, so it's like around 13 minutes. It's not like the fastest timing you can get, but given the fact that Solo was being kind of a jerk during the early game, still very respectable.
And not bad yet, just considering how much Yapsaw had to hang around the mid, yeah. And he was sitting at that level 1 for a long time. Level 6 hand with blink, Solo with the ping out, so they're going to know that Yapsaw has got that blink online, Vega.
That's actually a very big scout. Like, getting that little piece of information means that you take fights very differently. Like, normally when you see, you know, diving onto Kezu towards that top lane, throwing out the lasso, now you're going to have to think as Vega, okay, there's always going to be the chance of an epicenter coming at us if we're not prepared. And we always need to be keeping that in mind, so it could make them play in a bit of a different fashion.
FM with the treads, Yasha has come down to the bottom lane. It looks like Vega are going to go and try for a push onto the tier 1 bottom. Meanwhile, Quaitha, with the help of Cinnamon and the Forge Spirits, just looking to take the tower middle, and Kezu's TP down here in the smoke up. It looks like No Diggity really want to try and hold on to this one and go for a fight. There's no lasso. Let's see if they can try and find an opening. Yeah, kill onto PL would be pretty huge, but it's going to rely on them getting a primal roar out. And in fact, no, it's going to be the Bat initiating straight in onto Cinnamon. Cinnamon will nightmare himself. The roar coming out from Kezu onto the sidelines, onto the Witch Doctor. They'll get the kill on Witch Doctor. They do lose Sin, so it's a 1-4 in the moment. Let's see which side's going to be able to continue this fight here. The tree line still, Bat Rider hiding behind his the cover of the Firefly. Era, he's looking to go in onto Araman, and now with the stun, beautiful burrow strike, holding the OD in place. No defensive Astra is going to be able to come out from that man. And it's a second kill for No Diggity, as they were very well in position for that one. They may lose Sim, but it's a trade they'll be very happy to take, getting that OD kill at the end of it.
My question was, why was he so far out of position? Like, it really felt like he lingered. And speaking of lingering...
Oh, they're going to find another!
Yeah, Mag's going to be dropping as well. That was really sloppy from Vega. They even placed a ward behind the tower, like between the tier 1 and the tier 2. So they kill the Bane. They can easily just back off at that point, because FN just popped his doppelganger. He runs away, obviously didn't end up dying. But no one stuck around for a really long time, and I'm not quite sure why.
Off the back of that, No Diggity will find themselves a tier 1 bottom. Eyes onto FN, but he has got backup. Error. Got to be a little bit careful there. 10 seconds till he's got the Shadow Dance, but a nice pounce down to the river. Be enough to get him out of there. Yep, still hanging around here under the cover of the Sandstorm. Blinks away, FN. Maybe seeing if he could close the gap, but it's not going to be the case. And at last minute of gameplay, very much favouring the side of No Diggity, and Era now going back for the 15-minute Midas.
After the start that they've had, it makes sense. Like, your Sand King has his core item. I think you can afford to go back for the item that's considered a tiny bit greedy in this scenario, because your heroes have almost all the tools they need to take team fights on their own without the need of the Slark necessarily being there 24/7 to back you up. And sure, he still can be, but the Midas kind of secures the fact that You know, if you want to go BKB this game, which I feel like as Slark against OD and PL, BKB is kind of necessary, because as soon as your Shadow Dance ends, you need something to mitigate the damage from the OD, of course, the mana burn, and then having Sanity's Eclipse to worry about too. Even the mana burn is really annoying as Slark. It's like Diffusal, Illusions, plus the mana burn from the OD ulti means that you can just flop over. It's really scary stuff, but yeah, the Midas is definitely, in this situation, it's more than okay.
It looks like Vega will finally get that tower that they were looking for earlier down in the spawner lane, but no sooner than decided. No, Diggity are going to be able to start pushing on the tier 1 top, and will he look to take that one down in trade? So the trades, overall, tower-wise favouring the side of no Diggity. Got the Necro, obviously being scaled up by Kez on his Beastmaster. And it is Era at the top of the board, but very closely followed by FN on his PL. Invoker, of course, with the Midas pickup. Now just starting to break away from OD and FN. He's being caught out in the jungle. If they can find this, could be huge. Era, a little unfortunate there with the pounce. Doesn't get himself down to the low ground. FN tried for the TP, but aware that Kezu was coming around the corner with a Primal Roar. So nicely played by FN, not hanging around to go for that TP and just goes for the walk home.
I like the fact that he's putting himself in the dangerous farming positions as well. Just lets Shioma, you know, farm up his own lane. Getting close to that Glimmer Cape, I assume, is what he's buying with that cloak. It's going to be a big purchase for him. Good in the team fights to be able to put yourself in a good position to either death ward or, you know, just not die. Which, oh my god, that coconut! Are you serious right now?
He saw that. I was like, easy solo kill. Witch Doctor. The coconuts just said no. Oh, no.
I would be tilted so hard if I were Koikfa.
He was like, oh, this is an easy kill.
I'm just sitting there, I'm like, really? That just happened? Smoke here.
And walk of shame. Koikfa as he goes back. Ace Midas on cooldown as well. This. Come on, Koikfa.
Oh.
Midas on cooldown. Ace, he's nowhere near a creep as well. Poor old man.
Use
that Midas.
Something. Oh, he revealed himself. Unfortunate.
And when will he use his Midas?
I don't know, dude.
I'm worried. Here we go.
Starting to get some PTSD from this non-Midas usage.
Here we go. Use your Midas. Yeah, there we go. Goes for the siege screen.
That's efficiency right there.
Nice stuff.
It only took him like 45 seconds. It's only like half a Midas cooldown.
That's fine. That's fine. He's still 1k ahead of the OD. And he's got 2.2k gold in the bank. I mean, we really can't hold him back. And now he's in trouble. But Yapzor has got his back, coming in with a Bow Strike. And now with the Fiend's Grip for Sin, beautifully done onto the Batrider to take the bat down. So they're trying to come in. But already it looks like the fight's over for Vega, as they've just got to get themselves out of there. And Koikfa heading to the side shot, picks himself up a Blink Dagger. So with a Blink yours, I mean, this is a battle Invoker. This is jumping in and getting the solo pickoffs and maybe even looking for the split push as well.
He wants it right now. Unfortunately, he only has one Wex, so his Tornado's not going to go very far.
They can get the OD, which looks like they've got a good chance of doing so. He will Astral himself here, but here comes the Meteor into the Bow Strike. No chance for OD. He'll get the Sanities out, though. Oh, wait, hang on. It's an OD. I forgot about that. Oh, he got one. He does enable them to get two there as the Spirit Lance comes through from FN.
Hero might need a buff.
Yeah, he was dying, but he enables the team to find two in return, and maybe they can find a third. There's a track onto Koikfa at the moment. Rhythm chasing him down.
Wow,
Tornado.
That was actually insane.
And that actually... Oh!
Oh my god.
That Tornado saved his
Tornado
backside.
was so close to missing.
That was... some good stuff from Koikfa on the Invoker. That's some good stuff.
For sure.
How's your Diffuser looking up here? It's nearly done.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah, he's got the money.
Soon. Yeah, he has the money.
He's got the dosh.
The thing that's really funny about this game is during the laning phase, we were talking so much about how no one plus solo mid versus the poor solo Invoker, you know, not really doing that well. And Koikfa's like 1,300 net worth ahead of the OD now, just because Vega have adopted this playstyle where they're more playing around the fact that the Bounty Hunter is the hero that they want to be near all the time. You know, try to abuse the trackle that you can get, take team fights and whatnot. But it's Koikfa farming so much more than the OD during that downtime that eventually it's going to get to a stage where the OD might start to fall off. I mean, he's already died 2 times. He's getting kind of close to BKB, but it's not really going to plan for Vega right now. Like, they wanted to be able to apply a bit more pressure.
You got Yapzor working on his Veil. The progression is there, and the farm indeed as well. Top 2 on the net worth still, Era and Koikfa. Koikfa, I guess, with the money he's saving up after the Blink yours, does he just go for the bots next?
Sometimes it's bots if you really want the inventory space, because the other common progression is Aghanims. Or you can go for like a Hex if you really feel like you need the lockdown. Given their team composition, I don't think he needs a Hex that much. I think it's just all about the damage, and a little bit of survivability from the Aghanims wouldn't hurt. So obviously makes your combo stronger, makes you durable. I think it's probably going to be Eggs for me.
Well, Vega, by no means too far behind to make a kind of a recovery and to catch up the Invoker and the Slark, but it's going to be hard competing with these two heroes running the Midases. And now sitting at 10k in both of their banks. Era, ready to move all over the map, 1800. What's on the plate from next? Is it that BKB, or is he going to go for something something that's going to give him a little bit more stats all around, like a Skadi?
I think BKB is the best item for Slark if he wants to go fight. But if he wants to continue to farm, he can go back for, like a Skadi, for example. It's still very strong. It's just, again, the mana burn is the problem. It's not so much that you're going to take a ton of damage, because Shadow Dance can get you out of most Terry situations, as long as you have the mana for it. But he's not carrying a stick. He has Dust, and he has Midas, Drums, Aquila. That's 3 very low-cost items, so he's going to have to sell the Aquila soon, if he wants to continually purchase like these small things,
Vega with his smoke, they're going to look for some big pickoffs, and they might be able to find it if they go leading in. Synderon's been held back by the Astral. See if they can try and get something more. They'll be happy with a Bane, but they want to try and find something big like Koifer. Sin, that kill's going to be for a dead cert, but it is just the Bane. The rest do get away. So off the back of that long smoke from Vega, not the worst situation there for no Diggity. It's just a Bane down.
Yeah, Koifer is still playing extremely well this game. Stops 2 heroes from chasing, baits the Bat Rider out. Mag with a little bit of a weird blink. He blinked into the trees, I think, to maybe stop him from juking up there, but Koifer just ran straight. He's like, yeah, whatever. You can blink up there. Shortest distance between 2 points is not the Higher King Rainbow Shot, contrary to popular belief, so he just walks it off. This Bounty Hunter has been not so impactful the last 10 minutes or so. During the laning phase, he was applying a lot of pressure, but now it's to that stage in the game where if he gets caught, he just dies. And he doesn't always have his team to back him up, so he's kind of just, walking around trying to gather what information he can. But really, the only person who can help him to follow up is the Bat, unless that PL buys like Boots of Travel or something like that. So Vega kind of have to adopt this really weird style where they need to try to team fight with heroes that are mostly single target focus, which usually revolves around the Bat Rider getting a pick. But as we already said, Beastmaster and Slark, no matter if it's nighttime or daytime, ganking the cores on no Diggity, it becomes very difficult. The game of vision is, I would say, pretty much in their favor completely.
So they can gank someone here. Yapso and Koifer stuck together, the lasso onto the Invoker, bringing him back, and already passed the BKB. He's not going to be messing around. Doesn't want to miss out on that kill, and they do get it. Yapso, the flame break just in time to cancel the TP, and Vega has a couple of very nice pickoffs. Very nice indeed. The first time Koifer dies this game, and that's a big one.
Just as we were saying, vision is usually in their favor. They do end up getting picked off a little bit.
Might even get more here. Sin. Ooh. Only just seeping himself out there.
I think he might have been able to hit that if he used the flame break closer to his hero. But that's a hard flame break regardless.
Off the back of 2 kills, forcing Sim back. They go for Roche, and it's going to be an easy one. Doesn't look like there's any chance of no Diggity contesting it. Greaves are now done on solo. Obviously, as we saw in the last pickoff, there's now 4 stealth on Bat.
A few minutes ago, he didn't even have a mech done, and after like 2 or 3 track kills, he just has full Greaves. Bounty Hunter Dota right there, pretty much to a T. Wag and I were actually talking about it. We were saying how fun Bounty Hunter is because you can just be having like the worst game ever, and you track like 3 heroes and get a couple of kills, and you just have like 4 items. It's kind of insane. And Era is going to be going the path of the Skadi, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, he sold his Aquila, as to be expected. Can't really hold on to the item for too much longer. But the longer he can delay buying BKB, the better. So because of the circumstances of the game where the 5 versus 5 team fights are not really popping out too much, and he's more or less been avoiding any confrontation with the OD that he can save the BKB for a later stage where having the 10-second BKB will be better for him because he has more items to back it up, as opposed to buying a 10-second BKB now and pressuring yourself into taking those fights because you want to try to utilize the item. Because BKB does not increase your farm speed. Like, it gives you a little bit of damage and health, but mostly you buy it for the on-use, clearly. So, still like the fact that he's playing it.
I mean, Era's D.
It's really hard for them to kill him. Like, he has to really screw up.
Oh, jump in onto the OD and oh, feed script and primal roared. No chance for the boy there, but he does have an Aegis, and that is 2 ults expended for him. So off the back of that, no Diggity know that they can't really stick around, and Synderen, it looks like he's got no choice. Caught out by the lasso, they'll take down the Bane, and now Kezu on the Beastmaster. Looks to be the second casualty. Sanity's eclipsed from the back to bring him down. Aaron Yapsor jumping in, wanting to find something in return, but Solo pops the Greaves, and no Diggity really have to get themselves out of this one. Yapsor tracked up, the car sailing through onto him, and in comes FN on the PL. They'll find themselves a third, and Vega just capitalizing on what was just no Diggity overcommitting onto an OD with an Aegis.
Unfortunate that they actually went for him. If it had been anyone else, it would have been just been like a free pick, you know? Okay, we get in, we get out, we get the hero that we're looking for. Maybe we get, you know, an objective, or at the very least force Vega back onto their side of the map. But as you said, 2 lives, no one being the nail in the coffin for that particular team fight, and now Vega looking to be quite strong again. It's a very back and forth game, though, to be honest. Like, it's still anyone.
Go both ways, yeah.
It's still anyone who can take this.
I mean, Quoth for the moment trying to put a bit of pressure on top on his Invoker.
He's got the Aghanims as well.
It's going to force FN to back. I mean, of course, we are talking about how hard Error is potentially kill, but of course, this BKBPL, that's very hard for no Diggity to deal with as well, unless they do get the lead in with a Primal Roar or a Fiend Scream.
Well, the BKB is a necessity item. Like, we talked about how Era wants to be able to delay the BKB as long as he can, but Era is actually more mobile in some ways than a PL, because he has 2 built-in escapes rather than 1, and he has Blink Dagger. So he can obviously pounce away, he can Shadow Dance, and then he can Blink. He can purge any initiation if he sees it coming. Whereas the PL, more often than not, will be forced into an engagement because there's so much vision on the side of no Diggity that even just using like a Doppelwalk might not necessarily get you away. With like Blink Sand King, Blink Invoker, Blink Slark, the Beastmaster is going to probably have a Blink after his Necro Book, which he has right now. There's just so much chase potential that he is more likely to be in a spot where he will need BKB to live than the Slark is at this point.
As we mentioned earlier, no Diggity have to be careful in these trades, if they are even, because thanks to the bounty, Vega is certainly going to be the ones coming out on top each and every time with the amount of gold. Mag, the bat, see if you can find a catch. Spots out Yapsor, jumps straight in and gets the last elf, and with Solo there, should have a good chance of this, but Yapsor fairly tanky, has a Burrow Strike onto 2, drops the Veil there in case the rest of his team were wanting to go in. And with the Sandstorm, continue to walk this one off. Yapsor, it looks like he's going to tick down to the Flame Break. Will indeed. The kill onto the Sand King. Meanwhile in the mid lane, Quoifer just backing off away from FN, but 12 to 8. And it is these pickoffs every time with the Chariot Gold that's going to continue to Vega's rise to be on top of the net worth. And as we can see, it looked like a close game, but 7.5k. That's not too bad at 29 minutes. By no means massive, but it's certainly a lead for Vega.
That's track right there, boys. Those are, if you look at the graph, it just coincides perfectly with all the kills that were happening on the side of Vega. And it wasn't like, what, it was, I guess, 5 or 6 kills that they got in total. And that's just a net worth swing based on Bounty Hunter alone. And Wagga was saying it too, is if you take fights against Bounty and you're not winning them, the game becomes hard very, very fast, especially considering it's not even just level 1 track that you're worrying about anymore, it's level 2 and 3. And that's where it starts to really get out of control, so. No Diggity doing the best they can to pressure the side lanes, but they will be forced back, have to defend their middle lane. Vega not wanting to commit too much to this. They can kind of control the map or go for a fake back, whichever they want.
Oh, looks like Vega do want to try and go back in. They jump straight forward. Quoifer with the blink out to the side. KB from OD, but the primal roll from Kezia holds him in place. He gets out the Necro Units and Era. He wants to go in. He wants to try and take down this OD, and they might just do that, and he will. The Astronaut coming out in time, but they lose Synderen. Epicenter coming in from Yaps on the sidelines, closing down the Death Wall for the Slayer, but Kezu, he's being chomped on by FN. He's going to tick down almost certainly to the Flame Break. The Spirit Lance thrown down, and Kezu's going to live. Era's trying to go to the high ground. Dark packs off the lasso, pounces away. It's going to be OD down at the moment. Looks to be the only one. FN surviving through the tornado, and oh, it's a good job he went down to the low ground because the Sunstrike would have gone a bit. Oh, the Burrow Strike! They get the PL! A second massive kill for no Diggity. It looks like they're going to find themselves a third one to boot. Era now dominating 3 huge kills for Vega, including both the OD and the PL, and suddenly that's going to cement the place of Invoker and Slot back at the top of the net worth, and A very nice gold swing for them there. Did cost them the buyback on Sin, but they'll take that trade anytime at 30 minutes in.
That was such an awkward initiation from Vega. They walk in, they want to try to go for a lasso, and at the same time the OD imprisons with his BKB up. So you're already guaranteed going to be wasting 4 seconds of a long duration BKB. Then he gets roared as well. So it's like, okay, now we're committed to a fight where a BKB was popped prematurely. The OD dies without using his ult. That's a lot of damage lost. The Beastmaster walks away with like 10 health because FN like panicked doppel walks up to the high ground because he doesn't want to die. He realizes the fight is pretty much lost at this point. So instead of at least getting something for it, they get zilch and they're forced back. That was a disaster for Vega.
And worth noting, of course, off the back of that fight, you're looking at a Slark that's going to start to push. He's got 24 essence shift stacks.
Oh, it's going to hurt.
He's punching. Over 300 damage per click. So they'll see how much they can get done down this mid lane. There is no buyback on the PL. He is back in 35, but still, that's a good window of opportunity for No Diggity to achieve quite a few objectives here. It's just going to be a question of what the players from Vega, and as you said, just a bit of a messy fight. They've got to be a little bit more careful when they go into the next one.
It was just one of those situations where they knew that they had the advantage. So they're like, let's try to push it as hard as we can. Let's go for an engage. And then the synergy just wasn't there. Mag and no one go on different targets. The BKB duration is wasted. You get roared out of position. There's no save. So the best thing they can do is they can put a Glimmer Cape on the OD, which they did.
Yes.
Like, Shioma put it on right away. And then they just pop Necrobook 3, and it's like, okay, well now our Glimmer Cape does nothing, and our OD is pretty much guaranteed to die. Gets no damage off. That's a core out of the fight immediately. When you start a fight that way, you're not winning, especially with mass blinks. And that's another problem. When you start to lose a fight against No Diggity's lineup and they're just chasing you across the map, their mobility is so good that you're going to lose almost everyone. And most of the blinking heroes that they have also have disables for TPs. So it's not even as if you can just be like, oh, I'm out, no. TP. It's like, no, you're dead.
There's no escape.
It's really, really hard to only lose one hero. Like what No Diggity have been doing. They just lose Cinderin. Then their team either cleans up or they run away. That's fine. You're losing one support. They're losing multiple cores in team fights. That's no go.
And in terms of as this game does go on, I mean, Slark, Invoker, ODPL, who is the better late game?
I still think that PL and OD is maybe a bit easier to use.
Okay.
But it also depends on how the fight kicks off. Like if Vega do what they did, pushing the high ground or trying to force that fight, No Diggity will win. Like, for sure. Again, not having any way of breaking the roar, things like that. Maybe a Lotus Orb is in the works for the Bounty Hunter or something after a little while. But if they can get the PL on the Slark, just force him to defensively Shadow Dance and just force him out of the fight, it suddenly becomes very difficult because then your only real source of damage is going to be the Invoker. And if the Invoker can't do anything because he's either imprisoned or he gets lassoed or something like that, then the fight becomes very hard for No Diggity. So it really is execution-based, but I would say that Vega's lineup is a bit easier to execute.
See if that's going to be the case. We do need to just have this pause here. Hopefully, we have to get the show back on the road. Very shortly, just waiting on it. Yabsor at this point in time. How much money has Yabsor got? Because it felt like he had the Veil a long time ago.
He is what I assume going for Hex because he's got a Void Stone.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
And the thing is too, he's been kind of understated this game, but the main reason why I think that Vega became so passive during the mid game is they had a couple of team fights, but it was more just they saw the Sand King blink super early, like solo scouted it out, and then they think, okay, well, pushing into tier 2 towers when we're playing into blink epicenter becomes very difficult for us. We don't have any early BKBs. Our Bounty Hunter, he had an okay start, but he didn't really have an amazing mech timing.
No.
So that was late, which means that the health offset that you normally want for those team fights wasn't there. And it only was when they started getting those few picks that they got the Greaves finished, they got the Vlad's finished, and then they started saying, okay, now we can go aggressive, we get our Aegis. And that's the other part too, right? They get Aegis on the OD, and then they immediately take it away. Now granted, I would still say No Diggity lost that fight, but the Aegis for Vega means that they can pressure, and when they lose it, they lose the map control that they're looking for. They're not allowed to stop the Slark from farming. And to be honest, they haven't even really gone for him because they realize how hard it is to kill the thing. Like, if you don't get the lasso perfectly and to follow up stun or any crazy burst damage, the hero is going to just pop Shadow Dance and teleport away unless you have Flame Break. That's pretty much the only spell they have, I believe, that can stop it. So it's a rough situation for sure, but looks like Yabsor is back. So game going to be underway here in just a minute.
Let's get us straight back in, lads. There we
There you
go.
go.
There we go. Bam, bam, bam.
Middle tower has fallen.
24 Esper shifts is going to make quick work of that tower for Era. And, well, it looks like they won't push any more off the back of that. They know that Vega's going to pretty much have their full roster back in the game very, very shortly.
Yep.
So no point in hanging around. And as you said, maybe not too much pressure to finish it as of yet. Diggity still very much with these 2 cores farming at the better pace.
It's kind of an interesting game because each team has a core that kind of semi-counters the other core. Like, Slark is good against OD, but OD can also be good against Slark. And then PL is really good against Slark. But Invoker, who's XOR, and Sand King are kind of good against PL, right? Because you have Illusion Clear, you have some kind of Disable, you have Lockdown. So that's why I was mentioning how the execution is going to be so important during these fights. If Vega can find a good lasso, isolate a target, kill it, it's going to be their fight to win. If the Appstor gets good counter initiation, the Slark finds a good target to stick on, the Roar is on point, you know, no Diggity can just as easily take that team fight as well.
It's just kind of going to be interesting to see out of the Slark and the PL who's going to end up dying more, because you've got a PL now with the man to the BK.
Well, the Slark hasn't died at all, so he's definitely got the advantage there. And he's also playing against 4 Blink heroes. Like, this PL is against Blink Beastmaster. Everyone but Cinderin has a Blink. Very reminiscent of yesterday. Cinderin just never having a Blink dagger.
He got the Blink up 37 minutes in.
Yep.
We'll see if he can beat that today. He's got to farm up 1,300 or so in 5 minutes, so probably not. But at least, he might be able to get close. I mean, in terms of Sin, I guess, is he even going to go for the Blink next, or is there something else that's going to help him better at this point?
Glimmer is not very useful because of track.
Yeah.
I guess you could maybe go something like Force Staff. They have a couple of hard lockdowns.
I was going for the Lotus Orb, maybe?
Yeah, that's a...
Yeah.
Oh, he's going Ether.
Oh,
Yeah,
the
he's going
Ether, sorry.
lens. Yeah, he's going to disassemble his his Arcanes. Ether is good for Bane too.
Yeah.
Very good.
Quafer will be indeed that Hex that you mentioned earlier after the Axe.
I believe so. It just has the best synergy. This is about as cookie cutter a build as you can get, but there's a reason why it's so popular. It's just the best build.
And it's working for him. He's, as you said earlier, Quafer's having a great game on the Invoker.
This guy had, I would say, not so great laning phase, and then comes back into the game, being highest net worth, landing some really good combos, making his presence be felt, except for that top gank where he tried to kill Shoma and then got stunned twice. That was actually the most unlucky thing I've ever seen. But I gotta be blinking here defensively, just getting himself out.
Era leading the way as Yapso backs him up, and Vega. Do have 3 heroes down here, but it looks like they don't want to stick around. Another blink being thrown into the game as FN's going to grab himself one on the PL.
It's a really good item for him. You can just jump on the back line instantly, like go for the Invoker, you know, go for the Bane, maybe even find the Sand King, throw a Lance at him so he can't just go for a Blink Epi right away. And because of the fact that he does have that BKB and Doppelwalk, it's very hard to focus him directly. And you can kind of bait out spells, you know, it's just a very useful thing to have.
And both teams certainly playing it very, very safely at this point. No one wanting to come out. The scout was there both by Vega and indeed by Quafer. The side no Diggity onto Roshan. It's going to be a longer respawn. Just a minute down on that one. Sin will now finish off the Ether Lens on his Bane. So we'll see if he's able to find himself in perfect positions to set things up with the Nightmares and get himself in with the Fiend's Grip. As we mentioned in the power measure of the draft, it's a hard game to get off a good Fiend's Grip. But if you can catch someone out on their own, it could lead into something big for the side of no Diggity.
My question is, which team feels like they actually need to end the game? I don't know if either team really feels that, to be honest. Like, sometimes when you're watching a game, you have a pretty clear idea of what a team wants to do because they're either constantly playing aggressive, saying, our lineup's not as good as yours late game, so let's just win before our lineup kind of hits its expiration date. And we saw a couple of examples of that previously here on the DreamLeague. But during this game, both teams seem fairly content into taking it late. You know, PLOD, Slark, Invoker. The Witch Doctor becomes kind of a semi-carry as well once he picks up Aghanims, but Sand King and Beastmaster are pretty much the same types of heroes, and you have Bat. Like, I mean, I know we're only in the second day, but this is the closest game I think we've had.
Well, look at a Roche here for Vega. Top lane, Koifer's still putting the pressure on with his Forge Spirits. I mean, it doesn't look like no Diggity going to be able to do anything to stop this. It's falling pretty fast, and they're just not really in a position to go. Yeah, I mean, Koifer's going to try and make the most of it and continue to push top. Eric cleaning out mid. And, well, as we can see, he does start to hit onto the Rex, but they take the Roche Vega, get themselves the Aegis onto FN's PL, and they're able to get back to defend in time to make sure that they don't lose any racks on the top lane.
Yeah, it was a nice move.
Oh, Maelstrom Slug, not something we see every day.
No, definitely not. He's going straight into Mjolnir, I would imagine.
All right.
It's good against the PL illusions, I suppose.
That's true.
But the thing is, it can get purged. So I guess you would want to put it on someone who has BKB, because that way you can't purge it off. But yeah, it's typically seen as the item where on paper it's supposed to be good against PL, but if he sees the static effect on you or whatever, you can just take it off immediately. It is a good split pushing item though, and most of the time you don't see Slarks getting a split push item because they're always building either heavy stats or they're getting BKB or they're getting a locked item like Basher.
FM. See if we can find any kind of jump in. Yep, so it's going to go immediately for the TP out, but oh, that flame break from Mag, absolutely on point, and they'll get the kill. Yapzor will be one to go down after what felt like quite a few minutes there of peace. The first casualty yet to come against Cinderant. Oh, he'll be a little bit luckier than Yapzor with his TP out. He will escape. Vega find themselves a kill and give them a bit of an opportunity to try and get something done on this bottom lane. I've already found the tier 2. I don't know if they can actually push for more. A boosted travel on the PL, so I mean, this game's going global, and as we can see on the net worth, it's incredibly close, 38 minutes in.
Both teams just able to continually find farm. The mobility that they have on both teams is actually kind of getting out of control here. It looks like Lincoln's was the choice from Quakefa, not the Hex. Obviously good against Bat. So now the Bat has to pretty much force staff the Invoker if he wants to actually go in.
And let's see if Mag can catch Era.
He's so fast.
It would be a huge lasso if he can. As you said, Era's just out of there.
Freaking small fish is fast, dude.
I mean, what's next for Era? You've got your Mjolnir done. Are we going to see anything else a little bit different? Or is it going to be back to standards and maybe back to a BKB?
It could be BKB or Basher. I think those make the most sense. He already has the attack speed from the Mjolnir that he needs to make Basher worth buying. It really depends on if they want to try to team fight into the Aegis or wait for next Roshan. That's going to be the big thing that dictates what his choice is going to be. Because every player thinks of it differently, right? Or maybe your captain's saying, you know, just go for the BKB.
So
I got a sentry here.
Yeah, Sin's going to spot this one out, and Sin's actually just going to go for the straight TP out. Can they get the video? Oh, Sin!
Nice.
I'll tell you what, he's good at running away.
That's true.
We've seen quite a few good TPs from Sin this game.
Well, I mean, he dies so much, you figure he puts himself in those positions where he should be really good at getting away,
He's just discovered the TP scroll item. He says, this is a good item, team.
What?
Make sure you've got yourself one of these. Oh, let's have Vega. Maybe going to try and give it a go at pushing up onto the high ground here in the mid lane. FM. He's going to be the front liner, but the Cold Snap's laid down on the side. They will get a lasso onto Kezu. Oh, punching through him here. There'll be a Nightmare trying to help him. Sin trying to use it defensively, but it doesn't matter. The Beastmaster still goes down. It'll be a double kill as they punish Cinderant as well. BKB's being popped by the PL and the OD, but now they're off. The Deafening Blast flies through as well as the Meteor onto the OD. He's being glimmer caped up, but it doesn't matter. He'll go down. They do lose 2, but they get the kill in return onto OD, and now with the Roar onto Solo, they're looking for the Bounty Hunter. Tornado flying through as well. Quakefa doing a lot of controlling in these fights, and it's paying off. Mega kill streak for Eras. They take down the Bounty Hunter. See if they can get Mag as well. He's been slowed up here, trying to fly himself away with the BKB and the Firefly. Can he get out of this one, Era? He's got the help of Yapzor. Oh, Yapzor missing the blow! He missed the stun. And Mag, he's still not out of it. Era's going to be there. He's got to force it 3 seconds, but it doesn't matter. Era picks up the kill with the Dark Pack. The jam. Now jumping forward. They're hungry for more. Looking for FN. The beautiful setup again for Quakefa. He's having an absolute game on this Invoker. Is it going to be enough to get the kill now? Oh, Oba comes back with the Glimmer Cape. That could be enough to get FN out of this one. He's trying to juke it. He's got the blink out, but Era, he did. Was on point there. Quakefa will punish the Witch Doctor for saving FN's backside. And Era's still hanging around, but now we're in a position where Vega 4 dead. Getting ripped to pieces, and all in all, a great fight, and just a lot of great controlling from Koifa's Invoker.
He's been playing so well this game. Every single time I see him drop a combo, it's on point. Like, he destroyed no one when he was trying to get out of the base. So both cores pop their BKB very aggressively. FN does it even before he loses the Aegis in the first place. We're going to see him chasing out a bit here. Koifa's going to be running to safety. But they just went too aggressive. Like, simply put, they get a kill on a hero who immediately buys back, and then they're fighting with no magic immunity up against an Invoker, which, as an Invoker player, I can tell you that is the dream. Being kind of semi-late game and no one on the other team has magic immunity, you just have free reign. He's almost got a full inventory, or I mean, I guess he pretty much does. He just sells his Midas now, and he's got enough for just a full refresher.
Oh.
So,
All right,
this is...
let the games begin.
This is a late game
Yep.
Invoker right here, for sure.
Sin. Oh, he's not gonna die. All right, maybe he will still. No, he's Sin. Does Sin live? No, he's not a liver. And Kezi might be another one to go down as well as FA continues to try and fight it with the BKB, but the rest of the side are there, and no Diggity. They're not giving FN a chance to get a second. PL for a Bane. They'll take that one any day. Koifa's not done. This man's walking through. Okay. Pop the link in there with the Astral. Follow through with the Hex, but the backup. The team's there to save Koifa. He might still go down, and he will. They'll lose Koifa. Show him on the sidelines trying to do work with the Death Ward, but it will be cancelled here by Yaps or Jules. And they get themselves anything more here. Looks like it's going to be the blink out. The Yapsor doesn't want to hang around for that one, so maybe Koifa getting a little bit too greedy there. And who in fact did that kill go to? Because I imagine that was quite a fair bit of money, whoever got that Invoker.
No, it was only 500.
Oh, okay.
But no one did get it, so. It's one of those things where it's kind of so late in the game that the overall net worth is still relatively even. Like, no team is stomping, so unless the hero has a gigantic streak, up until this point, Koifa's only gotten 5 kills. I mean, we're looking at a 43-minute game with less than a kill per minute average. So in that sense, it's just been a lot of farming, right? And with everyone just farming, there's never going to be a gigantic net worth difference unless one team has no map control, and that hasn't really been the case. So, still a decent chunk of money there for Vega, nonetheless. They really, really need to make sure to have hexes for the Slark. Like, we saw how effective it can be, but they need to kill that hero like in the beginning of the fight, or they need to find Koifa. Those are the 2 best targets. Yeah. And if you keep watching the way that Vega initiate, FN's always going on like the Beastmaster or the Sand King or the Bane, and yeah, you can kill those heroes, that's fine, but the other heroes, the Slark and the Invoker, do so much more damage than you inside of the fight in a shorter time frame that you kind of need to start prioritizing them, I feel. Like, if you get Fiend Script, you always have a Flame Break to fall back on. You know, you have Hex, you have Astral Imprisonment. There are so many defensive utilities on your team against that hero that I don't even feel like he warrants focusing. Like, just let him sit in the back. If he gets a Fiend Script, you can stop it without even having to target the hero directly. Even if the Bounty Hunter has a track on him, you can just throw a Shuriken at like a creep or another hero and it still gets stopped. I really feel like focusing the supports in the offlane as hard as Vega are is hurting them really badly in these fights.
Let's see.
Oh, they got a Lotus now. That's going to help a lot.
Yeah, Solo's just got it done.
So they can throw that onto FN, or they can throw it onto the OD, and then it's even less of a reason, honestly, to kill the Bane at the beginning of the fight. The biggest issue in dealing with a Slark is that you need a hero who can sit there toe-to-toe with him and fight. And PL and OD can both do that as long as Shadow Dance isn't up. So the best way to go around the fight is to make him pop it right away, because he's scared to die. So like hex him, you know, force him to pop it after he gets out of the hex, or, you know, just straight up kill him inside of it, and then take the fight from there. Because as soon as the Slark has to disengage, the rest of the heroes don't really do a whole lot on their own. Like the Invoker and the Slark are doing the majority of the heavy lifting. Like, we haven't seen a team fight where Yapsor's landed like this game-changing epi, you know? It's more like these drawn-out skirmishes, a lot of small fights, and then, you know, the Slark just gets a million auto attacks off on somebody and just cleans up. Or the Invoker lands a nice Yule's combo and he just kills somebody.
Oh no, Diggity. Ready for some action, smoked up. Solo, he's going to pop it, but they're straight in. They've got the vision of Solo. He's going to be the free kill here for the side of No Diggity. Let's see if they can try and find themselves anything more here. It's just the illusions of the PL pushing out here in the lane. But, whoa, in fact, Koifa, he's jumped down into the tree line on the bottom. He did find him at the same time. Kezu roaring on the OD.
Trying to control him here on this one. The Fiends group coming through for Sin. Now the Deafening Blast coming through across them all. They'll get OD towards left on the right. Chum is trying to look for a TP out, but the Yules is there to cancel it. And this is going to be No Diggity claiming themselves a 3rd kill off the back of that. Great rotation there from No Diggity. Yapso said yesterday Sin was making the calls, and that certainly was the call to make. And off the back of that, they'll get Roshan.
Yep.
And with the Aegis, they could be in a position to try and look for a set of racks from the side of Vega.
They just really have not been focusing the... I mean, this fight's a little bit different, right? Because they lost solo straight away. Vega instantly say, okay, we need to run. Like, we can no longer take this fight. But it's been the story of the game that one hero dies and No Diggity's lineup can just chase you to the ends of the earth. There's just simply no escape. There's a Refresher Invoker. He can Tornado for vision. He can Sunstrike, Deafening. Obviously, it doesn't give vision, but it does slow your progress. Not quite as strong as it used to be. But there's just so many tools they have, and also Beastmaster Hawk. You can't juke them.
Well, off the back of that fight, it's certainly made the game that bit harder for Vega. On 1918, you said it earlier, this is still continuing to be one of the closest games we've had so far. Mag, relatively deep on his own. In the Radiant jungle, he goes for a lasso onto Sin, but the team... I mean, FN's coming in, but he was a long way away when Mag decided to initiate, and maybe a little bit too YOLO Baggins indeed, as the name says, from Mag.
A little bit.
And he's lost a gem.
I think there's a little bit of frustration right now, honestly, from Vega. You can kind of feel it by how their players are going about the team fights. You know, that Necro Book was popped, and they threw a Glimmer Cape out onto no one anyway, even though there's no way the item is going to do anything in that situation, and then he dies because he doesn't have the Glimmer Cape up when the Necro Book is finally faded. There's just been a lot of plays that I've seen that, you know, maybe it's a little bit of tilt, maybe it's just them feeling like they need to try to get something, but I can tell you that he was definitely not looking at his minimap if he thought that lasso was a good idea. So Era going high ground now. He's got used to that Mjolnir on him, and he even bought a Moon Shard and consumed it, so he's got that bonus attack speed on top of his already insane attack speed.
Yeah. Koifa was able to take down those range racks.
Yeah.
This man, 5.2k gone on top of the refresh. He's going to go back in.
He's going to kill this.
With the alacrity.
He needed a sentry high ground, so that doesn't happen again.
That needs something.
Oh, they do have one, but it's just really far away. There we go.
Oh, still trying to go back in, and we talked about this earlier. The diffuser blade's still an issue for Era, as he is out of mana.
But this is what should have been happening like the entire time. Like, when you're playing against Slark as OD, as soon as the BKB is down on the Slark, you just ult. And just obviously try to hit as many people as you can, but if you mana drain the Slark, he is useless. Like, not being able to Dark Pact, not being able to pounce away, you can kill him so easily if he's out of mana. And that's why I think, even on the panel, they were talking about, you know, Waga saying how frustrating it can be playing against a PL as Slark in that position. But we just haven't seen it. There haven't been any fights where they focused Era. It's just every single time they're going for these other heroes.
Really feels at this point. Vega they need to, I think a lot of rests on kind of Mag getting that perfect initiation. He has to catch someone out at the start so they can take him down.
Yep.
And then allow the PL to go to work throughout the rest of the team fight. Because at the moment, you look at the side of Diggity, they've got way more initiation than Vega.
Well, they have better vision, they have more initiation, they have better chase, and their late game heroes on paper are about equal. So with that in mind, they just have better options.
What did Koifa go for? He's just need to carry out to the secret shop. He's got
I think
7K.
he might be buying Hex. Yeah,
yes, he's got a
Hex.
poison, yeah. Mag. Doing a good job there to juke out the Sunstrike now. Just get the lasso onto Era, but again, it's a hard target to do much about. Fiend's grip onto Solo. He's going to be able to live through it. Definitely Blast come through, but FN's going to be the one to move it onto Sinner, and they'll take down the Bane. Vega Squadron buyback straight away, and Era, BKB's up, trying to fight, stealing the stats here from no one on the OD. OD will defensively Astral himself here. Sin's making himself back over to the battlefield to burst down the OD. Now a stun onto FN from Yapzor. Yapzor getting low, the Death Ward doing a hell of a lot here for the show, but they stay on the sidelines. They're going to be able to pot the Aegis, they'll take down Yapzor. Now Era's back for round 2. Looking to finish off the PL, he might just be able to do it, but no, the cast! Oh, it's holding Era back, he can't quite kill the PL, he'll turn and kill the Witch Doctor. But thanks to that paralyzing cast, FM will be able to escape on the PL. Sunstrike isn't going to be on point. Tried to go for the plays there. Koifa, FM was there with the Dukes and the TPs out into the tree line. So Vega, it looks like they will be able to hold off the back of this. They are missing a Witch Doctor, but there is a buyback available for no one. And no Diggity will be missing that Yapzor Sand King for the next team fight.
I don't know if they're going to be able to do this without a buyback. They might have to, because their top set of racks are also exposed. It's a very tense situation for Vega.
Huge stuff that PL lived through that last fight. If the PL had gone down, could have been dead. He does have a buyback, but still setting back that far. Error moving in onto Mag's Batrider, and he might just be able to get this one more, and he does. There's a raw on Tef, and he tried to jump in. He did get off the BKB in time, but now he's got a doppelganger out of there. He's got to escape Error. He's there in position, but the pounce just off point. Error's going to have to Shadow Dance to de-initiate. 23-20, we're 52 minutes in. I mean, forget one of the closest games of this league. This is going to be one of the closest games competitive that I've been following recently, but it's certainly the edge for no Diggity, but Vega are showing us that they can still take these fights, and the FMPL and of course that OD. If OD's given a chance to just sit there and smack people with the Arcane Orb, he's still going to be three-shotting some of your heroes.
Yeah, for sure. It's just that the biggest problem is they need to force the cores to use their defensive abilities straight away. Like, the biggest thing is getting Slark to use his ultimate, but it's difficult now because he has BKB. So he can BKB first, and then when he starts getting low on health, then he can Shadow Dance. So there's a long period inside of the fight where you're not going to be able to target him, whereas before, you know, prior to him having that item, he only has used it twice, right? So there was a long window where they could either go for a Hex, go for initiation with the lasso, or just straight up hit him. You know, anything to stop him from just having this free reign inside of these team fights. But their heroes can't get away from a Slark. Like, you get hit once with a Scotty and you're a Witch Doctor, you're dead. Same thing for a Bounty Hunter, you know, even a Batrider without the use of Firefly, you can still just be dead. Like, there's so many things that on the side of Vega, they don't have the tools to kill the Slark, which is why the cores are the ones who need to be handling it for them. Because the more space your Witch Doctor has in a team fight, the more ability he's going to have to throw out a Death Ward if he has the chance. But if the Slark is on him, he's never going to Death Ward.
No Diggity. Yeah, Koifa moved in on that bottom lane, but he's TP'd up to the top. Maybe looking to find a fight. Oh, if he can solo this is going to be huge. Onto FN with the first Hex. Koifa, can he go for the plays? He's got Yapzor coming in as well, but FN immediately goes for the BKB, the TP out, and he is going to make it. Nothing to hold him back through that one.
I'm surprised Era didn't just buy his Basher. He's got treads and bots in his inventory. I suppose he wants to save for buyback, but he has quite a bit of money saved up right now.
And of course, as indeed pointed out by Weapons, Kessu's still without the boots to travel on the Beastmasters. They couldn't get him in there in time either, which could have been pretty huge. Did opt for the Shiva's God, I believe. Was that on the Beastmaster? Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm not something that we see every day. And
First time.
the stats to show that as well.
First time. It's not bad, though. I mean, if you think of it this way, Beastmaster is, first and foremost, initiation and a vision-giving hero. So Shiva's kind of synergizes with that very well. And if you think about it, if you have the Shivas...
Ooh. Refreshes OG.
Yeah. No, it's
like
good. It's good.
This is the late game.
Yeah. This is the double Sanity's Eclipse, double Hex, double Shivas.
It's where oh, he's going in, no one. It is just very boldly blink up to the high ground.
Yep.
Oh, he's got it. Ah. Oh. Oh. Poor old John.
He tried his best, man.
Press F. Tried his best for the cause. Thanks, Travis.
This is a storyline-driven game in many ways. The creeps have been trying for 55 minutes, throwing countless bodies at the enemy base.
Charlie, you've been pushing that lane for weeks. He was like, 55, just finished the game. I want this over. I want to go back to my family, and OD turns up. What a douche.
Yeah.
666 as well. This man has no heart. OD.
It's true.
The devil incarnate.
Terrifying stuff. Now, Roshan's going to be up here in about 10 seconds. Interesting that no team is really in the area. Kind of surprising, actually.
What I want to know is, where's your moon shards, Koifa? Where's your moon shards?
I think he probably... Oh, he did upgrade his bots already.
So he's not got quite enough, has he, for moon shards and buyback, I don't think.
Nah, definitely not.
Nah.
He needs like
Well,
400
nearly.
more.
There's only 270 off. Having the 4K. Vega coming out a little bit on this top lane. See how confident they feel about moving on to No Diggity side of the map. And well, No Diggity say, well, this is the time for Roche and Vega. Yes, I don't think there's any way they could stop this one.
I think they forgot that Roshan was in the game, actually. Well, in all
Certainly
seriousness, now they realize, they're like, oh, right, Roshan, that thing needs to be stopped, and they are way too late.
Yeah. This one's going to be
Actually,
a freebie.
it's not dying that fast.
Oh, go on, Matt. Go for the place.
Ah, he's not going to get it.
Ah. All right. Oh, FN. Juked out the tornado. Looks like he checked the weather before coming away from the entrance.
Well, now you got to kill Slark twice. That's not going to be easy.
I mean, how many times did they kill Slark at all this game?
None.
No. Okay. So if you do the maths,
The
chances
math,
say he's not going to die.
the math is
Especially
there.
not twice.
This is one of those situations, though, where with the amount of items that Vega have, like this PL is 6 slotted, DOD is 6 slotted, you can still see a team fight go the way of Vega. Especially because of the way that PL works. You know, you get a little bit of a momentum going into team fights, you get your illusions out. Maybe you don't get focused super hard, you get your Abyssal Blade on somebody, and they just explode, right? Like, the amount of damage that you do is insane.
Oh!
Quite for living life on the edge,
Yep.
as per usual.
I mean, Vega, they really are starting to muster up some pressure. We see them keep coming out as a full force onto No Diggity's side of the map. FN, maybe looking to bait some action here. He's going to start to bat, but Quaifer jumps in, gets the first hex off. Kessie coming as well, he's got the roar, locks down FN. Can they save FN? The Lucidor comes out, but it doesn't matter, he's down. That's the PL out of this fight. There's a Fiend's Grip onto Mag on the back run of the sidelines. Error starting to move in onto No One's OD. He's going to defensively Astral himself, but it looks like he'll still be in trouble. They take down Mag on the back run of Quaifer, pops the refresher. Oh, the refresh come out with OD, but it's too late. He's already dead now with the burst strike onto FN. FN brought back for this one. He's been hexed up. He's going to go down for a second time. GG is called. It's over. Just like that, Error with a triple kill. Make it an ultra. Give that man a goddamn rampage. Oh, no. Yep, so you're getting reported. No Diggity take the win. Just like that, game is over, and what a way to finish it.
That was... It escalated quickly.
It did.
Right? I mean, it's like FN goes in. He wants to try to start a fight. Quakefa walks away from the lasso, and then FN just dies pretty much from a hex. Buys back, dies again. DOD pops his refresher, dies instantly out of getting out of his own astral. And at that point, the game is it's just too far gone.
Yeah.
I really think that Vega had a lot of opportunities to win this game. They held map control for the first, I would say, 10 to 15 minutes. They get Roshan under their belt. And then all of a sudden, they were just taking these really awkward engagements inside of the base, like FN and No One both diving with their BKBs, drawing out the team a little bit too much. They get pushed back, they lose some heroes. It happens like 2 or 3 more times. And then No Diggity just have the Slark, doesn't die a single time the entire game.
14-0-10. I mean, it is one of Error's signature heroes.
Yeah, for sure.
We saw why there. And I think just the team as a whole were able to play really well around the way that Slark was playing. I think all across the board, Yapsaw makes a great plays. We didn't really see any, as you said earlier, any huge epicenters, but he was on point with the burrow strikes, just saving his teammates, getting the initiations off. At the same time, Vega showing a lot of promise. We've got to mention, of course, this is the first time that they played. I believe this is their first competitive game with FN instead of Pasha. And showed a lot of hope. FN, he had a great game. At the end of the day, the Slark was just able to outcarry the PL.
Yeah, the way they function in team fights is kind of similar, but I really think they should have focused Era more.
Yeah.
Like, before he had BKB, there were chances to kill him, and they just didn't take it.
Well, I'm looking forward to Game 2. Game 2 is going to be absolutely brilliant. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to have a short commercial break, then over to the panel, and then myself and Andy will be back with Game 2 between No Diggity and Vega Squadron.